All right, welcome. Okay. Who's in top chair here?
Sorry, my bad. I'm good at this.
What a great way to start off the day. All right, we are starting off our final assault Master League. What is this called? Round Robin Group B. Yeah. So take us through what's going to happen today.
All right, so today we will have 6 different matches, but 3 on this stream and 3 on the Final Assault Master League 2. If any match ends early on one stream, you can check out the matches if they're still going on the other. But on this stream, we will have 3 different best of 2s to decide who goes to the semifinals. Is that the correct term?
I believe they actually play the round robin finals.
The round robin finals. Gotcha.
And then hold on. Let me look at the website. No, it is. It just goes to the semis. Yeah, okay. Semis and then finals. Yeah.
All right. Yep. So a lot on the line here. I think how many players actually goes on? Like 1 player, right?
1 player from each. Wait. It says Nauco is in the finals and Manello is in the finals.
Okay, so the top 2 of each group. So yesterday, Manello and Naoko, they got their chance to fight in the semifinals. And then this group, Group B, will be playing today. Will have their chance to 2 of these players will be heading on to face everyone else in that semifinal. So a lot on the line here for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And we have everyone in here. So do we want to kick it off?
I'm ready when you are. The players seem to be ready to me.
All right, let's Here we go. I am on the right map. Maginot is the pick. Oh yeah, the bands today are Hill 512 and Sternberg. So those are not going to be seen today. So we're seeing Maginot, which is Sporks. Sporks' pick, correct? Yeah.
Yep,
and then we'll see what Master Gaming picks after he decides how Sporks plays on this map, I guess. Let's go.
Awesome.
Come on, game audio. I want sound effects.
Seems like the game audio depends a lot on the map by map basis. I think the maps that have snow for some reason are more bugged than the ones that don't. But yeah.
3, 2, 1. Go, go, go.
So I'll just begin to say the divisions that each player have chosen for this match, this very large map. Not Sporks has decided to choose the Galland German Infantry Division, while Master Gaming, also known as Master Shadow, is choosing the U.S. Armor Division Beaumont. You can see both players are just patiently waiting to see what the other player decides to send out first, so they can develop their strategy in a more reactive way. But if no players do anything, we'll just probably start seeing some smaller units trickle down, as we see here.
Master sending out a plane. I think it's a feign to think it's an air division.
Yeah, so a lot of players like to start out a single fighter while they're kind of not doing anything else. Maybe want to upgrade early while they send a fighter to get some lane dominance against the incoming infantry, so their lanes can push a little bit further, give them a little more breathing room so they can continue doing what they would like to do. Both players opting to go straight for the troop trucks very early. Makes sense for Sporks. He is an infantry division. We got the 3 normal troop trucks with the Bazooka Trooper Trupp. The Bazooka Trooper is pretty good. We'll push out the lane pretty heavily, especially since that is the lane opposite of what Master Gaming is focusing his troop trucks on. And Beaumont, being an armor division, doesn't really have to focus too much on infantry right away, but he is choosing to do so and is spawning his infantry on the opposite lane. So see here that I believe Sporks seemingly got the first crate on that bottom somehow. Looks like Master Gaming tried to get it with a couple Jeeps, but was not able to do so. We also see Sporks did have a 4 more troop trucks in that other lane to keep that lane pressure a little bit more even in that bottom lane. This is a little bit more troublesome for Master Gaming because his troop trucks are a little bit more expensive than Sporks's are, due to the fact that Sporks is playing an infantry division.
Yeah, that's a lot of troop trucks coming out. He's also got those the heavy troops coming out on the north lane. I think it's north. I don't know. Have you been casting this all season? Have you decided how to determine what's north and what's south?
Yeah, the way you have the camera, I have the curved lane as the top lane in my mindset, and the bottom lane as the more straight lane.
Okay.
But you can already see Sporks with that single fighter in that bottom lane not being contested at all, pushing out the infantry, allowing his basic infantry to push even further. We are getting a single artillery firing upon the infantry that is coming from Sporks, and is doing a lot of AoE damage, and is very helpful. He also has a fire to try to defend against this offensive fire that Sporks had.
So it looks like Master Gaming actually put that artillery in the lane and is just using it to help the troops move up.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous, especially on a wide open map like this. There's a lot of ways you can send a jeep around that bridge on the middle of the map around to take out an artillery pretty easily, especially it's not being guarded by any tanks. But we are not seeing that yet. Instead, Spork seems to be setting out his top tier unit already, the tank destroyer, already setting up his line. We'll probably see a lot more from him pretty soon, but he will use that to gain a pretty high control of the map this point forward.
Ooh, that tank destroyer is going to do some damage, but the ATG comes out from Master Gaming. Just can't hit that tank destroyer behind the rock, though.
Yeah, I mean, ATGs are very good on this map. Sporks saw the ATG right away, and he did position the tank destroyer in a very correct place. There's not that many coverage on this map. It's such a wide open map, but these huge tree areas are like kind of the only place you can hide units to save themselves from the anti-tank guns. And this is what I expected would happen is, now that he's got 2 tank destroyers, it only takes 2 shots from tank destroyers to take out an ATG. So he's carefully trying to send them to take out the ATG. ATG already got 2 shots on one, which is a pretty good amount of damage, all things considered.
Master
Actually really
Gaming's push on
impressed.
that south side, man. He able to get all the way up to the base with just the artillery and infantry.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised about that too. We've not seen any dive bombers from Sporks. The artillery, I mean, Sporks is the kind of guy, he likes to invest all in the tank destroyers, so we'll probably see just more tank destroyer spam over time. But as we can see, there's a third one coming out, and they're all kind of meeting there on this middle bridge area here. Probably start seeing him bombarding towers, and there's not going to be much that Master Gaming can do right away, especially he keeps trying to send out these ATGs. But like I said, only 2 shots from tank destroyers will take out ATGs. But ATGs are cheaper, so you might be able to spam them out and get some pretty good long-range shots. I believe the ATG is a little bit longer range than the tank destroyers, and you might use that to his advantage here.
I'm seeing base shots getting ready to come out from Sporks with those tank destroyers.
Yep, this is, like I said, this is Sporks'. He definitely likes to rush with these tank destroyers, and it's pretty good. I think. Okay, he's backing up the units now. You don't want them too close to the tower, obviously. I think he was trying to probably snipe some troop trucks more with those things to keep the lane pressure pushed, so allow his infantry to push even further. And tank destroyers is taking out any vehicles that are trying to block his infantry from proceeding.
He's got 4 tanks pushing up on the south lane now, which is coming across the last bridge. He's getting really close to the base and putting a lot of pressure on the towers now.
Yeah, I played against Sports quite a lot, and I can say this is probably going to keep happening. We're going to see a lot of tanks and a lot of tank destroyers keep bombarding Master Gaming. It's going to pressure him to the point where he's going to feel very trapped and start spamming out probably these higher tier units, which I don't think he's unlocked yet. He might be doing that very soon. He's not got any Calliopes, but he's just spamming the ATGs defensively. You can see here he has 3 stacked together in his base. I think this might actually work for a little bit. But once those tanks take these towers down, they eventually will, and we start seeing the tanks finally approaching in the base. A bombardment of tanks, these $7 units for Sporks, are just gonna slowly take the fire of the ATGs away from the tank destroyers, and it's gonna cause a lot of problems.
A V2 coming out from Sporks as well. Gonna hit in the base, take down those troop trucks. Oh, take down the defensive units.
Yep, so this is I don't want to say anything too early, but this is a very tough situation for Master Gaming. Like I said, these tank destroyers, when they are stacked like this, there's just not much you can do. We can see artillery trucks or artillery trying to come out via Master Gaming, but they're only dying one shot once Sports locks on and gets the correct angle on the tank destroyer. So, I mean, he's going to have a tough time. I'm not sure how he's going to get out of this right now.
The base ATGs are out for the turtle. He's got 2 up and an artillery. Taking pot shots at the tank destroyer, which can't hit it because it's behind that wall.
Yeah, definitely artillery or the best case scenario he has right now. I mean, thanks to purely the ATGs and the placement that Master Gaming has put for them, he's put them in very good positions to get them some free shots onto these armored units. Even though he is down 3 towers, he did successfully turtle. There's only 1 tank destroyer at half health near his side. We do see some tanks coming in that bottom lane trying to push forward, and we'll probably just keep seeing that more and more. Sporks had 1 dive bomber out, which is why you see Master Gaming has a few fighters just kind of floating around to make sure that dive bomber will not be able to take out any units that these tanks or these tank destroyers cannot get direct line of sight from.
Spork's gonna try and take out these ATGs. They move slow, but that V2 shoots pretty slow too.
Yeah, V2 is definitely very outshined by the U.S. Artillery barrage. It's just, especially on a large map like this, I mean, it's very easily to dodge these missiles because they're actually a lot shorter radius currently right now than the U.S. air. And like I said, they just seem so slow. It's easier to predict a rocket coming in that area rather than a barrage of huge tank shells.
Yeah, I think the damage is more concentrated on the V2 though, right? It seems to kill whatever it's in its little cone, whereas the barrage of artillery does less damage, but spread out over a larger area.
Yeah, so yeah, the V2 is kind of like an instant damage, and also does a lot of damage to any air units in that explosion. It's like a cylindrical cone, as you said. So it's good against air, but the radius is still pretty small. And even though the U.S. artillery barrage does do like damage over time more, because it takes like 2 shots of a U.S. artillery barrage to take out a unit in comparison to damage to the German nuke. But I mean, I still think it's better just generally. It's just hard to aim the V2 rockets, especially on these larger maps.
Yeah, definitely. Map size makes a huge impact on how the time to target on those rockets. There's the first Calliope coming out.
Yeah, this might be pretty good. We only see Sporks opting for the tanks right now. I don't see any tank destroyers. He has 2, but I don't see him getting too close to the base just yet. He's just kind of sending the barrage of tanks to stack them up kind of in a safe area where they're not getting shot by these ACGs inside the base. Tank destroyer finally coming in through the middle. But you're just going to see a lot of stacking for this final push. Maybe another V2 to sort of cause a disarray for Master Gaming so he can send these massive units in. Got the crate drop as well coming for Sporks, and that's just going to help him even further try to finish this game. But Master Gaming having the first Calliope is definitely going to help with all these tanks that are kind of gathered up, grouped up. You can see he's already sending them out, and they're all grouped up, and tanks are very slow. Gets a pretty good amount of damage already with that 1 Calliope on those tanks. But he does have it kind of outward, and it does not take that many tank destroyer shots to take out a Calliope at all.
Trying to hide it behind that little bit of tree right there.
Yeah, that little spot for the Calliope is a very good spot for sure.
Well, it was.
It was. Yeah, it definitely was, but
Oh,
he
man.
still got. I mean, okay, 2 tank destroyers coming. That's a little spooky, but okay, did take out a 3rd one that was in lane. I don't know. Master Gaming might. I mean, he has a chance more than I thought. He did about like 3 minutes ago, but he's defending very well against these tank destroyers and massive tanks. He's spawning just so many ATGs. Maybe Sports will have to rely more on some higher level infantry. He has 7 basic troop trucks and 1 bazooka trooper, but he's already kind of near the limit for infantry he can spawn. And on this big map, like, it's very easy to send a plane to mow down these basic infantry so they can't push in the lane. But Sporks, it does have one, did have 1 tank destroyer and did some damage with it, but still, Master Gaming holding very strong against Sporks right now.
Yeah, a dive bomber would be a good thing to use against that HEG, but there's too much of a fighter screen above the base, plus the base AA, and, you know, you just have to get really close. But that noise we hear, that might do it.
Yeah, it's possible. Like I said, we'll see. I mean, the ATGs, at least the benefit of ATGs is they're super slow, so they're easier to hit. You did get 3 units from that, so it's pretty good. I think that's definitely worth it. A little bit of damage to the tower as well. Not that that's too much of a bonus, but that tank destroyer is rolling in. It's probably gonna aim for troop trucks, maybe? Or he's going, no, he's going straight for the ATG.
Does manage to destroy it. That Calliope moving out of the base, though.
Yep, got a good, very good micro from the Calliope. It's gonna be hard. The lane pressure is gonna be even worse now. The infantry is rolling in. Fighters are kind of not doing much. Floating over gaming, Master Gaming space. He could. Okay, there. Now he's trying to.
Here comes a push from
mow down the
Sporks.
infantry.
The tank
Yeah, that
destroyer is
dude.
firing on the base? No, it's firing on the Calliope.
Yeah, he's trying to draw fire of the Calliope toward his tanks, but I don't know. He'll probably. Nope. Spork's trying to corner this Calliope. Doesn't seem to be doing so that well. I mean, you can just see he's microing the Calliope back and forth behind these barricades, outside, inside, outside, inside, just to make sure that this tank destroyer cannot take out that single Calliope that he relies so much upon to take out all these armor trying to invade the base. Sporks is just like, I don't care anymore. I'm gonna attack these HGs, and once these HGs are down, I'm just gonna potch out the base at this point.
Calliope does go down, but it takes the tank destroyer with it.
Oh my god! All right. It's pretty crazy. The net worth, I mean, it doesn't really matter this game. Like I said, once you get to these stalemate games, the net worth is purely based on how much infantry trucks you have at this point. Sporks is a lot easier for him to take out infantry trucks right now on each other's base because the tank destroyer has range, he's able to target and kind of kill them almost in 1 shot each. Whereas, I mean, Master Gaming can't leave his base, so he can't really stack enough units to get a higher net worth this game. It's just really a matter of who's going to micro these units better, who's going to have a better defense, and who's going to have who's going to really stop these tank destroyers from taking these free shots on these tanks.
Yeah, and the one thing that is nice about the tank destroyers is you can back them up while still shooting at the enemy. Tank column rolling in, 4 tanks. But an ATG in the base is going to do a lot of damage on these things. Another ATG coming out, maybe? No? Sporks' tank's just not able to make it past that front gate.
He's doing pretty well. We've only seen just usually when you see a player kind of spam tanks like that out of the garage as a defensive mechanism, it's usually not a good sign for the player. Spending all that money just trying to send out these cheap units to focus on these also cheap units coming from Sporks. You can see Sporks, I mean, he's probably slowly going to send a tank destroyer down while he's sending these tanks, if he can. And, I mean, he's going to have all these tanks, sure, but tank destroyer is kind of like the antithesis to all these tanks. That's not going to be much of a problem for Sporks. I mean, he already has 2 tank destroyers out in the field, slowly making his way. And once he takes out these tanks pretty quickly, unless we see like some more ATGs and a Calliope come out from Master Gaming, it's going to be pretty difficult.
Got another ATG watching that north approach where the tank destroyer is. But nothing watching that south approach, which also has a tank destroyer and a tank.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of tanks in the base. We can see that he's sending out the tanks one by one. We'll probably take out this tank destroyer. It's actually pretty scary and ironic that a tank destroyer has to be a little bit afraid of tanks when they're rushing him like that many. V2 successfully did a very good amount of damage. Is this the push right here? He's got a tank destroyer and a single tank. He's gonna take out this last tower. Tank destroyer needs to turn around. That's always
Yeah.
a fun.
Little J turn right there. Grew up the
Oh,
E-brake.
ATG down. Just a single tank defending. I don't see anything else except for the lone fighter. Backing up the tank destroyer. Just one more shot on that tower will take out that tower.
Tank destroyer.
Oh, now it's
shooting
two
at that
tank destroyers. I
ATG.
think, yeah, I think this might be it right here. I think the two tank destroyers coming from both lanes. No towers. Only a single fire to stop one lane infantry. Infantry is starting to rush in, taking out troop trucks. We'll take out anything that comes out of the garage very easily. You can see he had artillery coming out. Was taken out one shot by the tank destroyer on the right bottom lane, and 3 shots on the base. This will probably be it. Master Game did a very good turtle here, but I do think this is the very end here that there's nothing much he can do.
Well, ain't this a kick in the teeth?
And there it is. Not Sports takes game 1 against Master Gaming.
Let's take a look at this final scoreboard here. Right around $800 earned each. Not much money wasted on either side. Top deployed unit for Master Gaming was the G. Oh, is that because of the anti-tank gun?
Yep, that's actually kind of funny. I never really thought about that, but yeah, he spawned a ton of anti-tank guns throughout the game. So yeah, in concordance with all the jeeps, he also spawned early game. It ended up being his top deployed unit. So that's pretty funny. I think we only seen one Calliope from him this whole game, which is pretty rare from a lot of these Beaumont players. But I mean, he managed pretty well in this defense. I mean, once Sports gets those early tank destroyers out on this free reign map, and which is pretty surprising because usually Beaumont gets the ATGs kind of out pretty early in comparison as a Beaumont. Tier 3 unit versus Tier 4 and unlock cost and all that. So pretty interesting.
And the V2 rocket was on there as well, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, what do the folks want for their second map?
It looks like they want. Is that the Chateau he wants? Or is that his ban?
I have the bans as Hill 512 and Sternberg.
Okay, so he wants Chateau Todd. Then.
That doesn't sound too good.
Yeah.
Spork's not feeling very hot today. Yep, lobby is up. We are going to be playing Chateau Todd. Very short range map, correct? Not very short range. I say medium out of the entire map lineup.
It feels short because there's only one lane of infantry that they can kind of go down, so it feels short. But yeah, the map size itself is pretty big. There's actually a lot of different pathways that players can take compared to like maps like St. Aurorix. That's kind of just a very small map, 2 lanes, and like this map is interesting. I don't like it very much, but I definitely see why a lot of players do like it, especially if you're a Beaumont main. It's a very fun map, a lot of hills for those players, and has a nice little ridge for long range Gallon users as well. So.
All right, looks like everyone's ready. Let's kick this one off.
Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Go, go, go!
A lot of places on this map to place some nice artillery, some Calliopes or Stukas, but we'll see what the units they pull out are.
Yeah, we'll probably also see a lot of ATGs or tank destroyers on this middle ridge on both sides. They're very good for, getting a lot of free shots on any units coming down the hills or on the other side of the ridge. But like I said, similar to the last map, if Master Gaming can get his ATGs out, which he should be able to, sooner than Sporks can get his tank destroyers out on that ridge, he'll have a pretty good dominance with the ridge and taking out any armor. That being said, Sporks having the ability to send a dive bomber down on these ridges without really much issue there is a pretty good benefit for him. So having a fighter early like Master Gaming does, maybe he'll be able to keep that alive for any defenses against any dive bombers that come out. But you can see Sporks is already taking out this, barely, almost taking out this anti-air base gun. Or I say Master Gaming was doing that. I'm sorry. Almost taking out Sporks' anti-air base gun. It's only a sliver of health, really. Funny thing is, you can do a fighter strafe in a U-shape here and take that out with that little health. Fun fact, but just a lot going on from Micro on both sides.
Yeah, that dive bomber being a pretty effective purchase, taking out the artillery and getting a fighter to run into AA with 2 for 1.
Yeah, for sure. We do see we see 2 troop trucks right now from Sporks just in that middle lane. Not caring too much about the troop, just kind of rushing his units early. It seems it's better units on this map because map control on this map is a lot more imperative than the infantry who only go down 1 lane, as I said before. And we do see Master Gaming has the single ACG on that ridge already. So until there's units to shoot at, I'll just keep shooting at those towers for free.
Trying to distract the fighters with another fighter and then sending the dive bomber in. Solid play by Sporks. However, it did not work out.
Funny thing is, I don't know if you caught that, but Master Gaming actually did use fighters to take out that base AA with their fighter straight.
Yep.
So that's pretty neat. I'm glad to see that more. Alright, we have 2 ATGs on that ridge there. That's pretty devastating already. Hopefully he keeps those planes flying above them for some anti-dive bomber reasons, but Sporks is getting close to the money to get a... Oh, shoot!
Both
Wow,
ATGs going down with a V2 to the face.
That's about almost an equal trade. Obviously a little bit better. The ATGs are $16 each. And the V2 is $28. So you get the $4 difference here. But the main thing is the map control and a little bit of less pressure onto his units here for that little solid minute was allowed him to get those troop tracks out onto that side base and probably start having only 1 ATG is not as good as having 2 on that hill. 2 is a lot more scary for sure.
He's got a good artillery placement on the north side that can plug the lane. It is keeping all that infantry from moving up. But here comes the dive bomber.
Yep, there it is. It's going to go out in 1 shot. Too late to stop that. So, unfortunately, Master Game could have avoided this. He could have put that artillery a lot bit closer to his base AA on the side there. You see he has a fighter there now, but I mean, not going to do much now that his artillery is dead. So just a little bit of misplay of placing your units there. The artillery has a lot of range and really can do a lot of damage to this single lane anywhere near that base AA. Same way where it was at I believe it was on the X marker there.
Yeah, I think he just forgot about it. Moved it over there to get that map control and catch any drops.
All right.
We do see a tank destroyer out now.
Yeah, in the meantime, looks like 2 ATGs finally took out 1 tower. 2 ATGs, alright, so he's probably going to send that straight for that single ATG on the ridge is my guess. This really shows the power of the ACG range here, just sniping at that tower. From seemingly so far away. I mean, it looks pretty crazy when you look at it. And it's sniping through a tree as well, so that's pretty funny. I like the, I usually don't like an artillery lane, but I don't know if this is intentional, but it's actually sniping all the troops that were coming from those side placed troop trucks on the side there. Looks like he finally moved them back in, though, to his base. It was not getting much worth out of putting him in that side lane. So now they're going to deathball even more now that all these troops are going to be spawning at one giant ball there. Did finally take out the ATG on the other hill there, though, too, as well.
A tank push coming out from Sporks. 4 tanks, followed by a tank destroyer. Little ball of death coming down the lane. Gonna have to deal with those artillery, though.
Yeah, the artillery definitely doing a lot against not just the infantry, but like all these tanks are kind of stacked up, being pushed in the lane. I'm also guessing we're gonna see the first Calliope very soon here. Usually when players see a stacked amount of units like this, they're just gonna be like, oh, I gotta build Calliopes, but he is not actually opting to do that. He is gonna spawn, I believe, tanks of his own. Now that he saw his single artillery without really doing much anything else, was able to take it out the same Calliope damage would over time. So really that single artillery just doing a lot of worth and allowing him to kind of push back on his own with the few tanks he spawned.
Yeah, but I still think a Calliope would be a little bit more worthwhile on this map because of the mobility and the ability to fire while moving.
Yeah, I like it too. I think it's very good, especially since Sporks, like we see here, he loves to spam out these armor units. I mean, they're all stacked. I mean, artillery still is firing like crazy on them, which is bizarre to me and hilarious. But yeah, Calliope would be even better right here. But we'll probably see that eventually. It looks like Master Game in both these games. I mean, he does not seem to value the Calliope as much as most Goma players usually do. Usually I see players build multiple Calliopes at once, but not right now.
I think because Sporks is using tank destroyers which can only target one thing at a time, he's opting for more tanks because they're cheap and you can't target them all at once.
Yeah, I get that.
There's no AoE damage from Sporks.
All right, I kind of get that, but at the same time, he just spent money on a artillery barrage, and that's very questionable to me in value because really, I mean, a Calliope in its way is kind of like an artillery barrage. He targeted the artillery barrage right outside his base, which is the same range that a Calliope would do, but at least after the Calliope is spawned and it does the damage to those stacked up units, you still have a unit to be using after that. So,
yeah, I definitely don't see the value in that one.
Yeah, that was a little questionable, but I mean, it's fun. It's fun to see fun stuff like that. This tank destroyer on the bottom lane, or I guess the only lane, first curve on the bottom, is getting free killed by this one artillery unit. So really, I mean, I guess Master Gaming's like, I don't need Calliopes. I have these artillery units. They're just killing these tier 4 units everywhere. They're good by themselves.
Calliope and ATG on that ridge right outside the base. Going to put damage on the lane and the bases. Just got to protect them from the air.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to see more usage of these fighters. I mean, he could definitely be... There's not that many bazooka troopers, I believe. There's only one troop truck that are spawning these bazooka troopers, which means all of these planes could be easily pushing the infantry out. Really, he could target the first curve, the middle, and the last curve with all 3 of these planes doing the different job, and that his infantry would be able to push a lot further. He only has, I believe, 1 infantry truck, so I mean, he needs all the help he can get for his infantry to push further. Otherwise, he's not going to get out of his base anytime soon. It's going to be another turtle game for him if he does not push out a little bit with his infantry.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but if you tell the fighters to strafe the ground, they won't protect themselves or friendly units if something flies under their zone?
Oh yeah, for sure. If you have them send a loop, at least they won't. Which is why usually if you send them in a loop, I like to send, especially when they're close to your base, if you send them a loop where they are forced to go back near the base AA, at least gives them a little bit more insurance. But I don't know, I don't like seeing them. I mean, I'd rather have at least one plane doing something instead of floating over my base the whole game. So I just think even if it dies, the benefit of pushing out the lane outweighs the the benefit of it maybe protecting something. Especially that he only has them over his base instead of near like the side where he has units actually shooting like the Calliope and a few tanks. They're kind of out of range of the base AA too, so if Sporks wanted to send that dive bomber to that area, he'd actually get free shots onto those ground units pretty easily without taking much damage of the base AA, which he's doing right now.
Master Gaming did push on the south side there with the tank column, forcing all of those troop trucks to get pulled back.
Yep, and we did see as well the dive bomber took out 3 tanks. They're all stacked together. Master Gaming, I mean, he's got the fighters, but he just didn't have them placed in the right time at the right moment in that area. So he lost 3 tanks, $18 worth by a unit. He did lose the dive bomber. The dive bomber, I believe, oh god, my brain, $15. So did get a little bit of value in terms of what he made in money. Also, the little bit of map control he can get, he can send up maybe a few tanks or a couple of jeeps maybe to take out this single lone Calliope. Now it's not being defended, but second Calliope coming up on that side hill, and a good V2 bomber as well.
Yeah, that V2 taking out all the units on that hill.
Pretty brave Calliope usage there. Just wasn't able to pay attention to the tank destroyer going around the back to take it out. He was trying to target these towers, take them down. Did do pretty well against them. Almost took out both of them on that top hill. This is a very good spot for his Calliope here, though. Very nice part. No way that the tank destroyers will even get close to it anytime soon. We'll have to figure out how to get that that Calliope that, if he wants, can kind of get a little closer to even target those troop trucks. If he gets in that little shadowy area of that corner there, we'll be able to take out all the infantry pressure that has actually caused Master Gaming a lot of issues during this game.
Yeah, and he's plugging all those troops coming out of the base basically immediately. I think the only way that he could get those tank destroyers over to that Calliope is to send it backwards down the lane from his other exit.
Yeah, and that also, he runs into more problems there because he's got a couple ATGs to fend off on that ridge we were talking about early in the beginning of the game. We can see Master Gaming, he keeps losing them, but as soon as he loses them, he just keeps spawning more on that ridge. He realizes that's a very important choke point to stop these tank destroyers from having all this free range all over the map. And I mean, once Master Gaming uses Calliope on that bridge that's only firing on infantry right now, he could do a lot of severe damage with it. He just needs to get it a little bit closer. We also have not, other than that one we saw in the beginning of the game, where we saw one single artillery barrage near his base. The one time he probably shouldn't have used it. This would be a pretty good time to use it. Would force all the units out of his base, and any Calliopes or any ATGs that are in range of any units trying to escape the artillery barrage would be able to take some free shots on any units that are quickly trying to escape for their lives. But you see the Calliope is finally taking shots at bases, or I should say towers. He had to move the troop trucks out of the range of the Calliope, and he sended, what did he send? He sent
tank destroyers are sneaking in from the south side though.
Yep. I think it's going to be pretty hard. Those tank destroyers are pretty low health. Sporks finally did take out that Calliope that was taking out the tower. Sporks has only half a life tower on the kind of the least important place to have a tower, in my opinion, when it comes to having at least infantry presence. But all of a sudden, Sporks did regain control of the map, all things considered.
B2 to take out the ATGs? No, take out base? A base stack of tanks and an ATG? Maybe? Can't tell what he destroyed.
Yeah, I think he got a couple troop trucks and an ATG for sure. And
I was pushing with 3 tank destroyers, taking out one.
Oh, no.
2 ATGs going down.
This is not good. I mean,
ooh, that artillery taking 2 tank destroyers out though.
Yeah, the artillery again. Oh my god!
Oof.
All right, this game has been like the artillery unit has been the MVP. Like, who cares about the Calliopes? These artillery units have sniped so many tier 4 tank destroyers throughout this game, and just that single one took out 3 right away, and it's just unbelievable to me. Alright, we don't have much, we have 3 Calliopes on the side of Master Gaming. don't know where the. Let's see where they are right now. They're all on. Oh, they're all on that bottom. Wow, there's 3 of them stacked right near Sporks' base. That's pretty scary. He's sending out 3 tanks. Did he even notice they're down there? Because I didn't. That little shadowy area.
Yeah. That's an impressive little spot. But 1 dive bomber taking down 2.
Oh no.
But base shot? Is that base shots? No, he's hitting the AA.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, stacking Calliopes, they take a lot of damage from dive bombers. Their armor type is not that strong, really, against these explosive units. But we have a few tanks finally going up the hill. There's no tank destroyers, no dive bombers, not even any tanks from Sports' side. He just has troop trucks right now. That'll change pretty soon here. First tank destroyer comes out. That would have been the perfect opportunity for Master to push, honestly. But due to the fact he stacked his units in that little corner, kind of trapped himself when Sports sent a couple tanks and a tank destroyer there, and the dive bomber as well. They could not get out of the way. He only has that 1 Calliope that is about to get, I think, in range of. Nope, just barely micros it out of the way. And the second one will take some time to get there. Yeah, there it goes.
Fast enough.
I like all these troop trucks for their place. They're kind of like blocking that other entrance. So.
I think that's what he's trying to do with them.
Yeah, that's pretty neat, for sure. I like to see a Calliope kind of just like walk over there and send them. But of course, Sporks would probably notice that and send them back in the base at that point. The other Calliope finally made its way, I believe, back to that corner. He likes putting them in that corner. Like I said, it's good sometimes, but I mean, if you keep stacking Calliopes in that corner, they're just gonna get each other trapped and stuck in there. And it allows units like tanks and everything else to quickly kind of trap them in, and tanks actually do quite a bit of damage once they get close enough to the Calliope.
Oh, is that Calliope in lane? It needs to back out.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Hold it back, but I don't think it's gonna get back fast enough. Oh, it does. Gets away.
1 more tank destroyer to go. I think at this point, Sports is probably just gonna keep saving money and just keep building more. 2 Calliopes on that ridge. Master trying to rebuild his ATG defenses. I think he got a little impatient there a little bit of time ago. Was focusing on just sending Calliopes 1 by 1 out to try to finish the game, but realized he can't do that against Sports. Sports is does a little bit more how to defend against that strat. So now he is being a little more patient and is starting to regain map control the way he had when he was nearing the perfect push opportunity. So we do see some fires coming out from Sports purely, I guess, to stop any fighters that are pushing the infantry down.
Yeah, a little bit of air superiority coming out from not Sports.
Yeah, Sporks likes, I mean, he usually goes full on ground, but when he does go air, he does go full on air. He'll go full on fighters, full on dive bombers. And you can see there, dive bomber taking out that HGG almost, only 1 more run. The air superiority by Sporks is definitely rough to deal with, especially me being a Nichols character. I have seen the true power of the Sporks gallant air superiority strat.
Master Gaming doing a pretty good job, though, of baiting those fighters to fly into AA and taking down that bomber as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Sporks lost some of his fighters already, which is pretty surprising. I mean, he did take out a lot with what he had with the dive bomber and stuff, but there's only 1 fighter. And really, like, it's just not really doing as much as I think he wanted the dive bomber to do. I mean, it's so easy for Master Gaming to reset up his base. That's a good placement of the Gallon tank destroyers, though. 1 on the hill, 1 on the bottom. I'm curious if he's gonna keep 2 on that hill from now on, just to keep the. Yeah, I think that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna keep 2 on this end, stop any ATGs from stacking on the other side, allow him to push further. But this Calliope on this. He's doing it again. The Calliope is on this corner.
Yep, in the little dark spot. But he does have an AA to protect him from dive bomber this time.
Yeah, but I don't think that's gonna matter now. He's gonna be like, oh crap, there's 2 tank destroyers. How do I get out? I can't get out. I'm stuck.
And there goes the AA. All of his forward units destroyed.
Yeah, this gives Sports a lot of momentum. There's only one Calliope out in the field near his base, but 4 tank destroyers from Sports. This is usually
HEG coming out to stop those tank destroyers. And that artillery getting another one.
it's freaking artillery this game, dude. It's crazy. Yeah, one more shot of the tank destroyer onto the ATG is taken out by a Jeep. That's wonderful. I like to see that. A crate drop. We haven't had. I guess we did have many. This is the 6th one. It should be free for Sporks. Yep, we'll grab that. Try to, but he will lose that artillery for grabbing it. Yeah.
Oh no, that Jeep didn't follow through.
Oh my god, these artillery, dude. Yeah, this is one reason I don't like this map. It's just kind of awkward for. I see a lot of ground characters kind of have these standoffs on this map, especially Beaumont and Gallon, because Gallon has trouble because of all the issues with him trying to shoot things. There's not that many clear shots for them to take generally, unless there's a little bit of questionable shots being taken. But it's definitely a better Beaumont map as long as you have your Calliope stationed in better locations. But I think it's been difficult for Master Gaming to figure out the correct positioning for his Calliopes to finish off the game here.
Trying to bum rush a Calliope with a tank destroyer.
These fighters are, now that the fighters are actually strafing compared to earlier in this game, you can see how well that's keeping pressure in this lane. Made Sports have to spawn a AA unit. Pretty expensive they are usually, but I mean it's going to allow him to theoretically take out these fighters, allow his infantry to push forward, which is the main reason why Sporks has not been able to push into the base for such a long time. His infantry has been forced back for so very long.
Tank destroyers just a little bit back, can't hit the base tower because of those ATGs.
Yeah,
and it looks like he's just prepping a push.
Yeah, he's got the fighters taken down with that AA he stationed. Now you can already see the infantry are just flowing in through that mid. They'll be able to walk up the lane and not only just start taking out the tower, but I mean these HEGs, if they get close enough, these bazooka troopers will kind of shred them pretty quickly. Good placement with this tank destroyer. Probably going to target the artillery if it can. All right, that will stop the further issues with the infantry not being able to push up. Probably try to take out one more shot of the ATGs. Probably just out of range. A good mix of units here. He's trying to send a fire to stop this infantry again. He realizes this infantry is going to be a huge problem for him if he allows these infantry up this hill.
Now, there's a difference between German artillery and U.S. artillery, correct? German has more armor, but U.S. has more range?
I think that was a bug, and they corrected that. They should be both on equal playing fields now. But they should be the same exact range, damage, and armor.
Oh, what kind of spawn was that? The ATG just jumped to mid-map.
Because I said the word bug, and
not a good way
Yep.
to lose an ATG.
yeah, pretty unlucky for sure. Calliope's placed in a pretty interesting spot. I think it's pretty good. It's got a lot of hills. Generally, I don't think a tank destroyer will be able to take any shots of that right now. So the interesting thing about I want to go back to Master Gaming spent a lot of time focusing that outward base AA from Sports, and I usually see players like when they play Nichols do that because it's a lot more beneficial for them to have that free reign of the air. But as far as Beaumont goes, I usually am pretty surprised to see a Beaumont player focus that so early. He spent some resources to get that, and it hasn't really proved to be that useful. He hasn't really sent that many planes over there. Really neither player has really needed to worry about the base AA, so it's interesting why he chose to do that. But yeah, it's just a fascinating tidbit about me, I thought.
Tank destroyer moving up to take out those ATGs. Don't think it's gonna win this fight.
Dude, these
Gonna
Jeeps
lose the Jeeps.
godly. I
It did
love
take
it.
out the ATG though, which opened up that lane.
Yeah, that was good. But I don't know. I don't know. He can just spawn another. I'm not sure. Maybe it's pretty good. He's
Or
spawning one a little bit more forward.
5 tank destroyers coming out down lane now.
All right, so this is the Sporks special right here. When I see like the tank destroyers reach over 4 units on the counter there, I know I'm playing against the Sporks for sure.
That's a weird shot right there.
Yeah, that's definitely a questionable shot. But you know, it works. Trying to get that artillery out. That thing probably will die in one shot. Yep, first thing to be shot at. And he's cornering these Jeeps and Calliopes with 2 tank destroyers on that side hill. Meanwhile, infantry pushing up the lane, except that one fire is taken out, and the artillery is, keeps taking pot shots at the tower and infantry on the actual infantry lane. Somehow that Calliope barely survives. That's crazy to me.
Sporks does
But it
get the
worked out.
drop from the middle of the map. What I thought was going to be a push just kind of fizzled out. I mean, he used the V2 to take out the Arty. He had all of the tank destroyers lined up. He just didn't get in.
Yeah, I think the main problem with the tank destroyers on this map especially is when they go up this hill, they're kind of like in an awkward position where they don't really, when they're going up the hill, they have awkward times firing. But when they're down the hill, you can see right here, they can actually shoot up the hill. Once they go up on that ramp, they're kind of vulnerable for a few seconds, generally. So that's why it's been pretty hard for Sporks to really do much against anything closer to Master's base. Like this ATG there, it keeps being spawned right next to his base. You can't really fire that right away. That's why he's using the V2 there to take it out instead. This is actually the push I think he's been waiting for. Got 2 tanks. Should be able to shred the tower pretty easily. He needs to take out that fighter as well, but and that single artillery that's going to take shots at those tanks does actually. These normal artillery, this game has been the MVPs. Like, I don't care about these Calliopes, I don't care about these tank destroyers, I don't care about these dive bombers. These normal artillery have been like the pure heroes of this game.
Absolutely, doing tons of damage. Cheap and effective. Why go with anything else?
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious if we'll see anything like maybe a V2 on the base AA so you can push some dive bombers in, but that's probably not gonna work. Fighters keep coming out from Master Gaming. Pretty effective use of fighters from the mid game to late game we've seen from Masters, so good job on that. I mean, this single fighter near his base has been keeping all the infantry down this hill. They just cannot walk up that ramp because of that single fighter, so it's been very useful this game.
The tower does go down finally.
Yep, that's definitely a better situation. One less thing to worry, take out the infantry.
Now, is there a hotkey to turn off the player avatars?
I don't think there is.
They keep getting in my way. Very rude.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think we suggested that many times, but I don't think they've implemented it yet. I think there was a hotkey in the instructions, but I don't think it actually works or something.
Sporks just keeps setting this tank destroyer here at the bottom of the hill, right outside the base, just letting units walk into it. But it looks like he's got enough stack to do a push now. He's got AA, he's got 2 tank destroyers, a couple of Arties.
And he's got A walking up that hill with no protection. There it goes. Okay. Oh, I like to see this ATG get shot by this super short range artillery.
Artillery
That's pretty
shots.
nice.
Not doing anything about it.
Yeah. I think at this point, Sports just seems to probably send more like basic tanks. Maybe no. That's the problem with the German divisions right now. Is they're just the nuke is not as good as the U.S. air is. Especially on this map, the U.S. artillery, or not U.S. air, U.S. artillery barrage. It's just so good on maps like this. The small base adds a lot of coverage. Will aid you quite a bit in pushes, whereas the V2, you have to actually kind of be targeting a unit and hope that it gets that one unit instead of that giant range to help push. So it's pretty rough for Sports right now. But that being said, there's not that much defending. There's that single ATG, and that's it, right? He just needs to send one one tank destroyer to take that out in one shot. Yeah, and I think that's what's gonna happen. Two are going up the hill right now. You can see Master's focused on a side hill for some reason, but I don't think that's where you need to be at all. I think it's gonna be a misplay. Unless these tank destroyers are not microed, they're shooting at nothing.
Yeah, that's not good for them. They're both gone.
Okay, ATG down. Tank should be able to walk in and take out these artillery, but there are two. That's kind of a lot of damage at once.
Dive bomber.
Dive bomber, perfect timing. The dive bomber. One more shot. Probably won't be able to do it. Too dangerous. Yep, dive bomber.
But a lot of tanks rolling in. 1, 2, 3,
Oh,
4,
shoot.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
This is the timing right here. I don't think there's anything, and I say that
The
with a little
anti-tank
bit of
comes
tongue in
out.
cheek. Oh, but there is a single artillery that is still alive. If Sporks has not noticed this, the artillery will continue its destructive reign over this game. I don't know if
A
Sporks sees
troop
it yet.
transport. I think that was a misclick.
Yeah, that was a misclick for sure.
That artillery, the base damage has actually stopped. The artillery was the focus for the tanks.
Yeah. There's not much armor except the ground AA and that single artillery. It's taking out the
Taking out
base
the base
AA.
AA. Yeah, that's gonna open it up for just dive bomb after dive bomb. That artillery is running away now. Not a whole lot of base damage, but a lot of clearing out the defenses.
Yep, I think is a tank destroyer rolling in. Good timing. There's only tanks. Taking out the fighter. Stop this infantry strafes. There is a single artillery goes down.
AA takes down the
great
fighter.
timing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Base
this is
shots
it.
from the tank destroyer. Oh, there's the ATG.
That's not going to do anything against these infantry, I'm quite sure. Yep, that's going to be rough for the ATG. Bazooka Trooper Ray is shooting at it. One more shot of the tank destroyer as well. Boom, goes down.
Lots
Base
of
is going
tanks
to take
coming
all
in
the
base.
damage,
Yep.
and this is definitely the end of game 2. Sporks will almost undoubtedly take this base. We'll go 2-0 against Master Gaming in this 32.5 minute game on Chateau Todd.
Easily rolled over our enemy on Sabat.
Yep, Sporks winning that one. Let's take a look at the final game tabulations. Once again, top deployed unit for Master Gaming is the Jeep. Followed up by
Yeah,
artillery.
We also see Sporks motorcycles number 4, and that's interesting. I remember seeing that many motorcycles, honestly, but I guess
I
they've
think
been-
it's because he only spawned tanks, tank destroyers, and infantry trucks.
Yeah. That's crazy. All right, sounds I mean, whatever. I'm not gonna question. Sounds good. So yeah, we'll probably be hopping into our next match ASAP. Should not take that very long, right? I think both players are ready for our next match. Generally,
I think so.
but we do have to get the pick and bans. I think.
Yes, I'm going to kill the stream, and I'll bring it right back up, so don't leave. We will be right back. I just want to get these separated for the VODs, so when we export these to Twitch, we're good. Or to
Yeah,
YouTube,
sounds
we're
good.
good.
Gotcha.